Hey, what's going on, everybody? So I had a question from one of the youngest wrestlers today. He was asking me about weapons and gimmicks and matches and the Money in the Bank and how they came up with the Money in the Bank, and kind of explained it to him a little bit. But I thought was more important was discussing the actual Halliburton briefcase and the origins of that. There's actually a pretty deep history of what the Halliburton represents and what it was used for back many years ago. The origins of the Halliburton back in the old days, whether it's the territory times or whatever, just back in the old days of wrestling, guys would show up at the arena and you'd have the promoter or the cooler or heater or whatever they want to call him, basically the badass in the locker room, would have this Halliburton suitcase. As you showed up, you'd put all your jewelry in there. If you had a gun, if you had bankrolls or wallets, anything you had valuable, you'd put inside the Halliburton, lock it up, and then he would hold it the whole night. And that way stuff got stolen, nobody went through each other's bags, everything was accounted for. If you got in a fight, you couldn't go pull out your gun because it was in Halliburton. So it was basically where every wrestler kept their valuables during the show. End of the night, you get done, you get, go to the promoter, say, hey, can I get this back? Get it back, and you're in your car and you're gone. So it was that. I'm assuming from what I heard in stories is that the actual way it got used in shows was one of the wrestlers at the time was a manager. Whatever weapon he had, I don't know if it was a cane or whatever, he didn't have it that night. So he asked to use the Halliburton from the promoter. And the promoter told him, yeah, go ahead and use it and take it to the ring. And he took it to the ring and just used it as a weapon. There's another story I heard that the promoter at the time was a manager. He took the Halliburton to the ring because he didn't want to leave it in the locker room by itself. And he used it as a weapon, and then it became a gimmick. So depending upon what stories you have, the first time it got used in the show is a little differently. But the origins of it is basically was where all the wrestlers would keep their valuables and safeguarding. So if anybody has a different story or thinks I'm not telling the truth, fact check me, please. I would love to be corrected on that if I'm not telling the whole story of it, or if I'm wrong, I'll come and correct myself. That's just the story the way I understand it. Anyways, man, I'll talk to y'all later.